I am dealing recently with disgust. I have realized that it's my ego creating disgust in order to push people away so that they don't get close to me and hurt as it has happened in the past. Any advice on how to work with that? So my mind just said people will see a commonality that it's always back to the same thing, but disgust is just like that other part of you that I mentioned, which is you feel no love for your daughter. So that's you can think of as one beata. That's like one part of your ego. And another one, I mean, this is similar, is disgust. And again, remember how we said that this should be fun. Maybe in the beginning it won't be, but it becomes fun to become an actor. And so when you feel disgust, and I wonder if it's only because she said with people, I wonder if it's like somebody that's getting close to her or in general, but it doesn't matter. I guess it could be both. If it's just somebody that you see on the street and you'll never see again.
Mm.
And it's the same thing, which is if the disgust is here in this moment, it's an opportunity for you to try to become the disgust character. How does it speak? What would it say? And it would say pretty horrible things that the ego is going to judge. And so one thing that you can do is just again express what is this the disgust want to say. I'm trying to think of something like um yeah, there's some funny ones like whatever it is, it could be racism, it could be how they're dressed, how they look, it doesn't matter what it is. And then you just say it in the most disgusted way. So it's like look at how that person's dressed. Disgusting. I'm disgusted at this person. I don't even want to look at them. I don't want to see them. And that's just light, right? You can go much deeper into maybe a little bit of violence in your mind or something. But yeah, it's just going into the disgust until it's kind of you feel kind of oh, I guess this is a good point. Um if you always kind of experience the disgust, but you're never doing that. You're never really committing to becoming the disgust. It's a very kind of unsatisfactory experience. It's kind of like it keeps bothering you. Like here it is in the background. Oh, I'm disgusted at this person again. I'm going to wait until it goes away. And it keeps coming back. And so instead of you letting it float, you kind of like take it and you're like, I'm going to become it now. And I'm going to express it in words and things. And you just do it every time. Just yeah, every time.
Yeah, I was just going to add also that disgust is, quite a pronounced form of judgment, which means that that which you are disgusted by will be something that you cannot tolerate, your ego cannot tolerate within you. So if you're disgusted by someone's behavior, like like anything, I don't know, they eat with their hands instead of with their cutlery or something, or it could be anything. Again, invite yourself to look at you doing that behavior and how much and how unacceptable your ego perceives it to be as a part of you, the you that it finds to be acceptable. So, you see something that triggers disgust, notice what it is that you're disgusted at, and then see that that part of you, the person or aspect or part of you that wants to do that has been rejected by the ego. It's saying that's not tolerable, that's not acceptable, it's not lovable, it's not safe to be doing whatever that is. So you can see that now. You can just by your reaction, I see this action, disgust arises. Me doing that is something that I have rejected. And then you can see it. And the more you see it, seeing is an act of love as well, as in seeing is starting to accept. And again, you can start to have fun with that. You can notice if it's a behavior that you're disgusted by in private, do that behavior. See how much resistance there is to the things that you're disgusted by. Um, and that part of you will no longer be rejected to the degree that it was and ultimately accepted. And then there will be no cause for disgust. And you're not rejecting disgust, like Steve said. The just this is the part of you that is disgusted is part of that as well.
Yeah. And I just thought of two things. So one is there's often a confusion about this stuff, like the emotions arise or these thoughts arise, and we can get confused as to what we're doing in our mind versus with actual people. And so I'll just give you an example. Like let's say that I'm going to speak to someone. Let's say I'm afraid to speak to someone, I see them, and then there's disgust, which I think that it's more clear to say like really deep judgment. I think it became more clear in my mind, like really, really deep judgment of any kind. So let's say that I want to talk to that person, and then there's disgust before I walk up to them. And so what you can literally do is you can say whatever you want about that person silently so that they don't hear you. And then when you're done with it, when you feel satisfied that you've looked at the disgust and then it's kind of gone, then you walk up to the person. So this is how you manage these things. It's not like you're disgusted and then it almost seems like, oh, I don't like that person, so I'm just gonna feel disgusted and walk away. You can do both. You can kind of like um kind of release the disgust. And when it's been released, then you can talk to the person. So both things can happen. And then the second thing I'm trying to remember, oh, is a great example of something that I did, which was I was watching one of, I think, not everybody knows Artem is one of the, spiritual teachers that we follow, and he does lives. And so I was sitting in my living room looking at the screen, the TV screen, and it was, Artem, the spiritual teacher, and he's speaking to someone, right? And so doing this practice of, oh, look at this, look at this deep judgment arising for the person that's speaking, right? This disgust. And so for the first time, I literally pointed at the screen at the person that was doing the thing that I was disgusted at. And what he was doing is he kept interrupting Artem over and over, interrupting. And I really, that there was even rage, right? So what I eventually did is I paused it right when the guy was looking at the screen and I said, "You're a terrible listener. Shut up. You're a terrible listener," and a lot of other stuff. And then after that, I was like, wow. So first there's that rage, that there's the judgment, but then that means that in certain moments I'm a terrible listener. And then it was very obvious for me to see that in certain moments maybe I'm not listening to the person and I'm waiting for them to finish so that I can speak. That's an example of being a bad listener. It doesn't mean anything. I'm not a bad person or anything, but isn't that funny, right?
And then an extension of that, in terms, you're seeing the part of you that is a bad listener that wants to be seen. You could, as an extension of like doing the you're a bad listener thing, embody being a bad listener and pretend that you are interrupting someone over and over again because you just want to, because you just don't care what they have to say. That part of you is there that has doesn't care at all what the other person says. They're speaking, it's like, shut up, I want to speak now. And you could do like a role play where you are so arrogant and just dismissive and, and all of these things. Because again, we judge that as a bad thing, but it's a part of you that's there that wants to that is there. And we've said that it's not acceptable. But embodying it in a role play, for example, even with no one else, just to the wall or to like an image of someone on the computer, is immensely alleviating. To do, if you've always thought of yourself as a good listener and then you role play being the worst, most arrogant listener you could possibly imagine, it's another form of an exercise that leads to further acceptance. Yeah.
And yeah, just to finish, I was going to add, what's the point of this? Because everything we've talked about is sort of the same thing. Oh, this thing is here in this moment. Let me try my best to embody it, to feel it, to release it. The point is that if you're able to explore these things honestly, you're just learning to love yourself. So there's a part of you that can't listen, a part of you that's cold. And so if you explore these parts enough that they become familiar and comfortable, and then you notice that you're having fun with them, that's when you know there's no more judgment. You can be brutal, right? Like I said, to the screen. I'm pretending I'm saying to the guy, I'm brutal. And I really mean it in that moment as an expression. But then after I'm done, I laugh because it's funny. It's like, wow, look at how much resentment, right, over a person just doing almost nothing. And so the point is you're just learning to love all of you. And the more that you love of you, then there are endless like shifts that happen. Like you, if you're someone that has a mind that is constantly um, saying how bad you are, then when you love these parts, that's one thing that you will see slowly disappearing because it's like you're learning to love all of these characters in the mind that there was so much judgment for. And just exploring them is embracing them and loving them. And then there's not that much of judgment anymore coming up.
Yeah. And it's only the ego that thinks any of this is serious. So even if you're completely wrapped up in it and you really feel that it is serious, you can think, even if you don't know it or feel it, but just you can say that, even though it's not my experience, I know that it's not serious, even though it feels like it totally is, because it is honestly the biggest joke of all time to see how dramatic everything is from the perspective of the ego, and it's just not in the end.
Yeah, they're just like images that are happening in the mind. Just like I could sit here and create things in my imagination. It's the same thing, but it's just tied to emotional pain. And
Mm,
that's why it has to be cleared. People think that, oh, the ego doesn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't. But the nervous system, which is the body that had to push down the emotions, that's real. And that's why you have to do all this stuff to unravel the illusion of the ego by releasing and releasing.
yeah, and that's not to diminish the actual experience you're having. Of course, I don't mean what you're experiencing isn't real. Of course, it's a real experience.
Yeah.
So it doesn't diminish the actual suffering, but yeah, just good to know. Great. Okay, should we wrap it up there then, Steve, for today?
Yeah, and then just let everybody know that I think next week we'll do the same thing, right?
Yeah, so every week, obviously the community is brand new and we're trialing ways of engaging with the members who are in there now. Thank you everyone who's in there at the moment. You're the first guys in there. You're sort of defining, helping how things will go, getting your feedback on what's helpful, what's more helpful, what's less helpful will be really valuable for how we move forward. But the plan at the moment is to do sort of one of these videos a week, addressing the things that you want to be addressed in sort of a longer dialogue format. And then, of course, um, we're in the forum every day. So we'll be uploading these videos to the classroom. So there'll be like a catalog that will emerge over time. Um, but yeah, that's everything for now, I think.